Welcome to How to Properly Prep Clients of Color for Chemical Peels. I'm Joelle Lee, owner of Joelle Lee Advanced Aesthetics Training. So what are we going to cover today? We're going to go through my 4-step process for prepping clients of color. So these are the 4 steps you have to consider that can help you with all of your protocols and methods when you're treating skin of color, and especially when you're using more invasive services, whether it be peels, lasers, microneedling, etc. There is some definite prepping involved when treating clients of color. So you're going to walk away from this training with the protocols and methods that support your business and that also allow you to provide a safe and effective way to provide chemical peel services to your clients of color. So we're going to talk about why clients of color need to be prepped properly, when to prep clients of color for peels, and what to use on clients of color to prep them for peels, and of course, how to properly prep the client of color for peels. Now, why do you need this training, or why is this training so important? So the skin of color population is rising globally. And when I talk about skin of color, I use the word multicultural a lot because I don't want people to think that I'm just talking about Black people or African Americans. When I'm speaking about skin of color, I'm speaking about all ethnic groups, because all ethnic groups all need to be prepped, or things have to be taken in consideration whenever you're treating a client of color. But if I say ethnic skin or something like that, a lot of estheticians or people in the industry immediately associate that with only African Americans. Now, in my online courses and in my in-person training, we cover all ethnic groups in my training, and we'll be doing the same today. So when I cover material, I don't want you to look at it like it's in a box or like you're just treating an African American client. I want you to really bring this to your entire clientele of color, okay? The skin of color population is growing and growing, and it's growing globally. So estheticians are going to be faced with an increase of diverse clientele, and more diverse clientele making appointments, coming through your doors, and demanding services. Now, because of demands for inclusivity in this multicultural world, it is important that estheticians are competent in meeting the needs of a diverse clientele to satisfy these societal changes. All I'm really trying to say is this: more and more people of color are seeking out treatment. More and more people of color are either performing the treatments or wanting the treatments. Okay, you have to be equipped and knowledgeable enough to address these needs and concerns of a skin of color clientele. So it is crucial for estheticians to understand the varying needs of different ethnic demographics, and also to be able to offer services that successfully treat client skincare concerns, meaning you should not have any apprehension or be afraid of whoever comes to your door. If you specialize in skin, it shouldn't matter the color of it. You should feel just as confident, whether it's a Hispanic person coming through the door, an Asian person coming through the door, an African American coming through the door. You should feel just as confident treating their skin and treating their concerns as any other client. Now, I know there is not enough training on skin of color because I've been doing this almost 25 years, and I understand the need for it. I was fortunate enough to get extensive training in skin of color throughout my career, but I know that most of you that go to school, it is not covered in a lot of the advanced training programs, whether it be through product lines and equipment. A lot of that is not covered. So it's difficult to kind of say you should be knowledgeable or have this requirement when most of you probably feel as though it is not a it's not a requirement, it's not taught to you. So you feel like, well, how do I even get this confidence or get this information? So you must prepare for these prospects and learn the knowledge and skills to treat skin of color clients effectively and confidently. You're not going to be able to ignore this. You know, this is going to happen if you plan on being an esthetician for 10 years, if you plan 15, 20 years, people of color are going to come through your door. If you choose to ignore it, you're going to be out of touch with the future of your skincare career, and you won't have your pulse on the industry, and likely you won't even be as relevant. So I've been doing all this research, okay, and really trying to dig into what are clients of color or the consumers thinking? What are they going through while they're out here searching for treatments? And right now, I get a lot of DMs from potential clients looking for an esthetician just for their specific skin, thinking they should be looking for someone that caters to their skin. But more than that, I'm getting clients who have been harmed in some way, have experienced a negative experience, or has scarring from a treatment. Things have went really wrong in their treatments, and they're asking me to help them. And I also have estheticians who are treating clients of color who things have went wrong and they need my assistance in repairing that client's skin. And that's happening more and more. So a survey by Black Skin Directory revealed that 92% of skin of color respondents felt it was a challenge to find a skincare professional to care for their skin complaints and concerns. That means that if I put 100 clients of color in front of you, 92 of them feel that one of the biggest challenges in the skincare industry for them is finding a professional or esthetician or skincare professional that can care for their skin concerns or whatever their complaints may be. 92 of them. Now, additionally, 68% attach the importance of the skincare professional being of their similar ethnic background. So that means out of the 100 people standing in front of you, 68 of them feel, hey, if I'm Black, I want a Black esthetician. If I'm Asian, I want an Asian esthetician. If I'm Hispanic, I want a Hispanic esthetician. And that is because of the amount that just feel there isn't a skincare professional that they feel safe with, okay? I want to change that percentage because I feel that shouldn't play the role in whether or not you get treated. So I would want every esthetician to feel that confident and be able to make all the clients of color feel safe. That's still a high percentage of people feeling like, wow, if I can't find a skincare professional that can take care of my skin, maybe, just maybe, if we're from the same ethnic background, she's going to know a little bit more, or I'm a little bit more safer in her presence. And the reality is, even estheticians of color aren't always confident in treating skin of color. Even estheticians of color lack that confidence or can make them feel safe. And I have estheticians of color who still make these same mistakes. So we even have to educate the consumer as well as the esthetician, so both feel confident and safe in their relationships. A 2018 study showed that results and outcomes were significantly improved when the client and esthetician were of the same background due to the perceived trust. And what that means is this. If I'm African-American and I'm the esthetician and you're African-American and you're the client, we automatically feel some sense of trust in this exchange, okay? But again, what the consumer doesn't realize is that doesn't necessarily mean that I would have more education than a Caucasian esthetician about skin of color. That's all perception, okay? So this further illustrates the point that estheticians today, They have to ensure they are equipped with the right skills. They have to ensure that they're equipped with the right knowledge to serve a large and diverse client base, regardless of their own background. Okay, your ability to serve a wide population is not only a mark of a progressive skincare professional, but it's going to have a positive impact on your bottom line. If you are able to promote yourself as an expert in skin of color, or you are able to say, in our business, we treat everyone and we are knowledgeable and we have the skill set to do that, you are definitely going to increase your bottom line or increase your revenue, okay? And you are going to be perceived more as a progressive skincare professional, and you're going to separate yourself from other estheticians in your area. So I'm Joelle Lee. Again, if this is your first time joining one of my trainings, I just want to introduce myself. I'm the founder and CEO of Joelle Lee Advanced Aesthetics Training. This is a business that offers continuing education and hands-on training that specializes in teaching safe and effective protocols and methods for treating skin of color. Now, I've been doing this now, it's been even more than 25 years. But I just want to give you a little bit of my background. I trained with an African-American plastic surgeon for about 6 years. I've trained with an African-American dermatologist for 2 years, and I've practiced aesthetics over 20 years. I did consider myself a skin of color expert, and I'm also a chemical peel and laser specialist. I developed a no downtime chemical peel method. I share those methods in my books and in my trainings, and I've also been a keynote speaker at industry conferences. I've authored 2 books, and I've developed skin of color online courses and hands-on training certification classes. I've also trained thousands of estheticians worldwide, online and in person, but my claim to fame, or what I am most known for, is being the esthetician to Michelle Obama while Barack Obama was in office. Now, I've trained thousands of estheticians over the years, some that are solos, some that are just starting out, some who are veterans in the field of aesthetics. There has been one common thread with all of them, and is that they don't feel confident or knowledgeable enough when they're treating skin of color. I've seen things go terribly wrong for estheticians. I've seen them go wrong for nurses. I've seen them go wrong for estheticians and physicians. I've seen the practitioners afraid to introduce more aggressive treatments for results, meaning more and more estheticians just, when they see a client of color, they just play it safe. They don't even think about pushing the envelope. And I've also seen what happens when a practitioner has the knowledge and skills to treat it confidently. So I've seen what can happen, not just to the client, but how it overall improves your business and overall takes you and your knowledge to another level and your career to another level. Okay. Now, this training's live, of course, but you all are going to receive a replay within the next 24 hours. Hopefully, you'll receive the replay this evening. However, the replay will only be available for 1 week. Excuse me. Please utilize that time to watch or rewatch the portions you need. The replay comes down in 1 week. You will receive a link in an email to watch the replay. And also, if during this training you want to tag me on social media, you can use hashtags Joelle Lee, Joelle Lee Taught Me, or Skin of Color, or all of them. It's your choice. Now, make sure you stay until the very end. I do offer discounts on my training and bonuses, and I will be answering your questions in the Q&A section and would like to give you the opportunity to work closer with me. Now, please tell me there's a Q&A section, because I don't see it on my bar, guys. So you all see it, but no, it's not offered to me. I can find it Beautiful. So there's a place I found. Okay, so Patrice, I see that it's here. So throughout the entire training, please put the question in the Q&A, because I'm not going to have the ability at the end to go through the entire chat and look for the questions. Okay. What I do at the end is I just open the Q&A section and I immediately start answering your questions. So if you have a question, go ahead. I don't care at what part of the, section I'm in the training, and ask and put the question there in the Q&A section, because I don't want to stop on slides and all of that to go ahead and take the question in this time. So in other words, if you were to ask a question in the chat, I don't want to stop the training to go ahead and answer the question in the chat. So please, if you see someone asking the questions in the chat, I'm counting on my veterans to remind them to put that question over in the Q&A for me. So guys, could you please do that for me as well? Now I just got a message about not having sound, so I need to ensure that. So is sound going in and out, or is the sound steady? Okay, most of you are saying it's steady. So this just means it might be something on their end. Okay, good. Because now I'm really going to start the training. So this is very important. Okay, guys. All right, are you ready to dive in? If you're trying to do 3 things while listening in, please do yourself a favor and watch the replay when you're able to really sit down and focus. Some of you listen to these in the car. Some of you are cleaning up your house while you're listening and what have you. All I'm saying is, if you want to be present but you have something else going on, please watch the replay, because you really might miss something. If you're here and you're present and you're ready to listen and ready to learn this training, then let's get started. Okay, why do we have to prep clients of color for peels? Now, I'm going to start out with telling you, when you're treating clients of color, the number one enemy is inflammation. Because if you do anything to cause inflammation in a client of color skin, it will most likely result in them experiencing discoloration or hyperpigmentation. So if you do something very aggressive and they leave inflamed, the likelihood of within 24 hours of them waking up, they will have hyperpigmentation in that area, okay? Which may be something they didn't come in with originally that now they also have to treat, or if they had hyperpigmentation at the time, you can actually make it significantly worse if you try to treat that hyperpigmentation too aggressively and too quickly, okay? You also want to prep clients of color to help build resilience in the client's skin. You want to ensure that the skin can take the different levels that you want to go to, and you do that by building the resilience in the skin over time. You also, again, want to prevent hyper or hypopigmentation, because in severe cases, especially with lasers or very deep or medical grade peels, if you are too aggressive too quickly, you can also cause hypopigmentation as well as the hyperpigmentation. In clients of color, frosting, blanching is not a win in most cases. Now, I know that when some of you take chemical peel classes, and some of the peels that you learn, frosting and blanches is the goal. It's like this great moment in a peel, and then when you recover from it, your skin is going to be renewed. But in a client of color, you risk having so many complications with frosting and blanching, and you can also leave behind permanent scarring. So we want to prevent that. You want to prevent acute or permanent damage to the skin, which I've seen happen in clients of color, especially with laser treatments, and to prevent sun sensitivity and to prevent getting sued. So I put that in because I do depositions quite often for businesses who have caused damage to clients of color. I'm actually doing one right now, and I might even have to go to the trial and speak in the trial. So this client went into an establishment. They burned her severely. I've been helping her heal from the burns and repairing her skins for the burns for about a year now, but she does have permanent damage and she is seeking compensation. And this is probably, I think, my 10th deposition, getting involved in actual legal battles. But businesses do get sued and estheticians do get sued for causing permanent damage or just causing damage in general to clients of color as well. So the consultation. So if you come to any of my trainings, we go deep into the client consultation process. If you take my trainings online, I talk about the importance of them. And I always send out a free consultation form. So when you all get the replay, there'll also be a link below that replay that will give you access to my consultation form. It's a 4-page consultation form. It's very detailed and very comprehensive. When I feel this way about all clients, not just clients of color. I think consultation should be very in-depth. I do not think a consultation should be 5 minutes. Okay. Oftentimes you go for a treatment, you're asked for questions, and the treatment begins. There's no in-depth conversation about you, your skin, your background. In the last 4 facials I've went to, I don't even know if my consultation was 2 minutes long. So I'm a big advocate of, in the initial visits, spending a lot of time with your client. You can share in the chat, how long are your consultations? Like, how much time are you spending with clients when you meet them, or when you meet them for the first time and they're coming for their first treatment? So I'm just anxious to get an idea of how long are you spending with them? Are you the 15-minute? Do you do like 10 quick minutes? They fill out the form. Okay, so some of you are saying 30 minutes. Oh, now someone's saying, now this is true. Most spa businesses only allow for 10 minutes. So if you're working for someone, a lot of times they're like in and out, you're on a clock. You 5 minutes, 10 minutes, start the treatment, and you have to have the next person in there. Unless you, like the in-person class I'm having in October, we take you through the entire consultation process. You do the consultation, I demonstrate the consultation, I teach you step by step how to do it in the whole 9 yards. So you actually go through the entire experience and you also receive the consultation. But I don't think 10 to 15 minutes builds rapport, builds a relationship, and it really makes a client comfortable enough to share their deepest stuff with you. I don't think and I don't even know if it's building trust in you. Okay. So 30 to 45 minutes, in my opinion, should be the goal, because understand that you're getting ready to touch this person. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of clients of color will come through your door that are having skincare treatments for the first time. And building that rapport and making them feel at ease is going to be very important, especially if you want the client retention. I feel that the more time you spend initially with a client, the more they're going to respond and receive your recommendations and also rebook with you. But if you spend 5-10 minutes with her, do the treatment, and now buy this product, I don't see where the connections happen. Okay. So some estheticians see a client for the very first time and conduct a consultation and skincare treatment all within 1 hour. In other words, you're booked every hour on the hour. The treatment's 50 minutes, the consultation's 10 minutes. Your goal should be to create the best consultation experience and personalized treatment plan for the client to ensure success and to guarantee the return visit. Okay. Many strands of ethnicity are blending together in our world's emerging population, and your multicultural skin clients' ethnic background and compositions are becoming more complex. Therefore, you must have a greater awareness and understanding of their diversity, and there's no other way to achieve that than conducting a thorough skin consultation and skin analysis. Again, in my trainings, I cover how to ask those hard questions about their background, their diversity, how to do a thorough skin analysis and consultation based on their ethnic background. During the skin consultation and analysis, be sure to consider not only your skin of color client's skin condition, but also factor in any underlying predispositions that may be associated with their genetic skin type. So, in the trainings, we cover everything about skin of color in regards to what are their most common skin conditions and what are the underlying factors that lead to them. Okay, so that you have a full understanding of why they're susceptible to those conditions and why they usually happen from an inside-out approach. Another goal of the consultation is to win the clients over with your knowledge and skills regarding their ethnic skincare concerns, so they feel more confident in you while going through the recommended treatment program. What this means is, when you spend more time with them, you get the opportunity to really share your knowledge with them and really talk to them about why you're doing what you're doing, why you're suggesting what you're suggesting, and why you can address that concern and how you can address their skincare concerns. All the while, the client's getting more confident in you and wanting to go along with your recommended treatment plan. And of course, we book for more additional appointments. So, estheticians may not be educating their skin of color clients enough. And I find this very interesting because I can't think of a clientele that would need more educating, because you have to understand the skincare industry doesn't speak a lot to the skin of color population or educate the skin of color population on the same scale they do a Caucasian consumer. But you have the opportunity to educate them and give them more knowledge and regarding the importance of skincare and why it's a priority and why it should be a priority in their lives as well. It's important to note that skincare practices and ritual, they're not equally taught across all ethnic backgrounds and nationalities. Okay, most people of color are seeking out skincare treatments for the very first time. In other words, they may not have grown up going to the spa, getting facials on a regular basis, having a skincare regimen day and night. Okay, they might walk through your door saying, I only use Dove soap, my mama used Dove soap, her mama used Dove soap, but that's all we've ever used. So you may be the first to expose them to the skincare treatments and the products and the importance of both. African American, Latino, Asian, Native Indian, and Pacific Islander communities often have an inadequate understanding of the root causes of their skin condition that commonly affect them. And what that means is that client may not know that, her eating habits, her bowel habits all could be contributing to the acne. Her PCOS, her fibroids, she may not have any awareness that the internal piece is playing a role in her current skin condition, and that a couple changes, just to some things, that lifestyle changes she could make a significant change in her skin, which she would be relying on you to educate her on. Furthermore, they often face numerous challenges in their attempts to find information about these conditions and how to treat them, which brings me back again to information not necessarily being available to them. And here's the deal, when I have my classes, estheticians are saying more than more how they don't like the influencers out here, people with no skincare background, having YouTube channels. They're on all the social media platforms as the skincare expert, who are doing everything they can to educate consumers and to drive them to the brands that they represent. And that's how you can differentiate right away, because clients will come in and say, listen, I follow this influencer, or I follow this person and they said this and they said that. But this is when you get the opportunity to show your professionalism and why you are the esthetician and what separates you from yourself and the influencer. So it gives you, spending more time with the client allows you that opportunity to be the one that they want to seek those answers from. Okay, skin prepping clients of color. If estheticians want to achieve significant results when treating skin of color, they're going to have to be able to offer a variety of treatments to address and correct the most common skin concerns and conditions. What that means is has to be more than facials. It can be enzymes, it can be peels, it can be dermaplaning, it can be microneedling, it can be microderm, it can be microcurrent, okay, hydrofacials, whatever, but you need a variety of treatments to address different things and things that are safe, non-invasive for a client of color, but still yield results, okay? Skin prepping or skin priming works and is most effective when you want to be a little bit more aggressive, or you want to add a little bit more aggressive treatments or modalities to the skin of color clientele. However, estheticians may not know how to properly prep the skin for the more aggressive treatments like the chemical peel, the microneedling, and laser, and so on. So, for example, you have a client come in for the first time and she has active acne and hyperpigmentation, and you realize she's only using soap on her skin. She's never had a skincare treatment before. Now, in your mind at that moment, you're thinking she would benefit from peels, a series of chemical peels. She would benefit from lightening agents. She needs to go home with some acid-based products and so on. I know that we can help rid her of this acne and this hyperpigmentation. I just got to get her in this corrective treatment program right away. In 6 treatments, we're going to do this. Now, this happens a lot in the medical spa. In the medical spas, they walk in, the salesperson is the one that asks them about their skin and tries to sell them the package right then. And on her first day, she's back there getting the peel. Okay, there's no prep, there's no nothing. I sold her the package, now you do the peel. The truth is, if this client of color has only used soap or water for her life, she's not ready to completely dive into a complete corrective program or a complete series of peels. Or maybe she's not even ready to have 4 or 5 different home care products that are aggressive or acid-based. Okay? This could even lead to more problems for the client. So when treating clients of color, you should approach the treatment thinking baby steps. I also like to say you want to approach everything slow and low, and that means you're slowly introducing things to the client of color, and you are using very low percentage, meaning if you are using acid-based products or you are using chemical peels, you're doing it at a very low percentage and a very low strength with a step-up approach in mind. And the step-up approach means, for example, I'm using a 10% glycolic acid with a pH of 3 or 4, which means that peel is relatively, very mild. And until this client doesn't feel it anymore, I'm not going to move to the 20%, or I'm not going to move to a medical grade 10%. That's all the step-up approach means. Estheticians should always start with a facial. I don't care, and I think I did a video this week about this. I don't care how much experience a client tells me they have when I meet them at a first visit. I don't care if they came for the peel on the first visit or whatever their agenda was. The only thing you're getting on a first visit with me is a facial, a deep cleaning facial that I'm probably going to add some enzymes or some mild acids to, just to see how your skin responds and how much that you can handle as a client. But I am not I'm not taking any chances doing an invasive treatment at hello. I don't know what could happen. And this should, a lot of these things that I talk about was my approach, whether the client was of color or not. It's just my approach to skincare in general. I just know how important it is to do these in specific cases of clients of color. But I think all first appointments should start with a facial. If the facial goes well, you can only, I only send the client home with 1 or 2 products. I don't believe in a 9-step program at Hello either. If you've got a client who never even had a regimen before, the idea that she's going to use 5 products in the morning and 5 products at night after meeting you one day is not realistic. I focus mainly on the corrective products, or if I'm prepping her because I want her to have more peels or more aggressive treatments down the line, I'm going to add acids to those home care products as well. But they're going to be at a low percentage and acid-based. And I like acid-based cleansers because it's an acid being used daily, which can help prime the skin as well. Keep in mind that if this client has only used soap all her life, she will not be ready to commit to this 5-step home care regimen, which could be a big turnoff to her because, like I said before, baby steps. If the client is returning in 2 weeks or returning in 1 month, you can access the client's skin sensitivity level again. The client can handle more. You can now move the client into your chemical peel series or start with a low percentage peel. And you can also start adding in more home care. So, what products can you use to help clients of color or prep clients of color skin? You can definitely start with enzymes, very superficial peels or tyrosine inhibitors. Now, the enzymes we use in the training, we have a home enzyme they can use as well as we have a professional one you use on the back bar. And you can bring enzymes in, but you could have a series of enzyme treatments too. You don't have to wait once a month to provide enzyme treatments in prepping. Enzymes can be performed every 2 weeks as well while you're prepping, especially if you want to move them into peels. Okay. Very superficial peels are, like I said, you're using AHAs, but they're low percentage but high pH. Low percentage and high pH means these are your most superficial peels. And they usually can be introduced. But nowadays, some of these enzymes are very strong, and you have to know the pH value of the enzymes too, because these low pH enzymes can be very strong, especially when you're prepping a client. Tyrosine inhibitors or lightening agents, I like to wait until I'm deep into the corrective program to bring those in, because sometimes I do use hydroquinone-based lighteners, and if I only want them on them a short period of time. But I don't really like clients on lightening agents for 9 months, 8 months. So I might spend the first part of my prepping without the tyrosinase inhibitors and then slowly bring those in as well as I'm seeing how the client is responding. Now, you also have low-level acid-based home care products. Like I said, this client can have an acid-based cleanser, an acid-based moisturizer. There could be a corrective serum you send them home with acids that would also be a prepping that they would use on a daily basis. You also would have to increase the frequency of the visits. So estheticians are always booking every 4 to 6 weeks, unless, of course, they have a client on a package. But you can see clients biweekly, especially in the very beginning of that relationship, if you're correcting something. There is no need to wait that length of time to see the client again, especially if they want something fixed. Staying within that 30-day window and treating the skin within that 4 to 6 week window, if you're inside that window, you're more likely to expedite cellular turnover and get results much faster. Again, you want to have a slow and low with a no downtime approach. I don't have the goal of my clients peeling for weeks, taking off work, can't go outside, peeling through the makeup. If those are the kind of peels you want to perform, I don't teach that, and we don't perform those. Okay, we teach a no downtime chemical peel approach where the client never experiences excessive peeling throughout the corrective series of treatments. I like to divide my clients up between a novice, an experienced, and a seasoned client. In my trainings, we go in much more detail of each and why I have each category and what each category of clientele, what they can handle or what they can take inside their treatments. So what would a skin prepping protocol look like, or a step-up method look like? So let's say the client is having her first facial, and she's had an enzyme, and that enzyme, she feels it, but it's not. So let's say on a scale of 1 to 5, she's like a 3. Okay. And inside this enzyme treatment, you're kind of figuring out how much she can take. Even if she said to me, oh, I'm like a 3, I would probably send her home with some low-level acid to use daily just to help build the resilience. But I'd have her come back in 2 to 3 weeks for another enzyme. Now, let's say in the second treatment, she says, wow, I barely even feel this enzyme now. I'm like like a 1. That's up to you. You can keep her in the enzyme one more time, or maybe you have a low-level AHA. Maybe you have a high pH, low percentage AHA, which you can now sell in a package. You can sell a package of 3 or 6 where she's coming bi-weekly. But let's say you're already getting some level of results from the enzyme. This would be also a great time to bring in your lightening agents and do the series, especially if the client has hyperpigmentation. And you can see them on a bi-weekly basis, where a program is taking about 3 to 4 months to complete. But even inside the AHA treatments, every 2 weeks, the less she feels that peel, you have the option of stepping it up one more level, whether it be in percentage or whether it be in pH. And that's all the step-up approach is, where you are building up their resilience, also building up their steps. Now, you're going to have clients who may stay at a low percentage for 6 treatments. That's okay, because that's just telling you that's what their skin can take. I don't want you to feel like, if I don't get this client in a medical grade peel, or if I don't get this client to a 30 or 40% peel, that they're not going to have results. They're going to have results at every level. It's the frequency that is going to really matter. And are they doing the home care that you prescribe to them? So in my trainings, we go deep into the home care, how to recommend it. We go deep into how to do the packages and how do you slowly step up in each treatment. And in my chemical peel training classes and hands-on, we do the consultations. You determine what peel we're going to use. I bring all the peels and enzymes to the class, and you determine with your client how you're going to move forward. You go through the entire process as if everything is really happening in real time. So you can sell, like I said, you can sell a series of 3, you can sell a series of 6 peel prepping packages. You can also sell a series of just 6 peels in a corrective program. So in my trainings, I talk about having clients in programs and not just making appointments. So if I was selling a package of peels, my client would be in a corrective program, then they would go into a maintenance program where they would still have a peel, but they would have it once a month instead of every 2 weeks, and they would be getting 3 to 6. They would be coming in once a month for 3 to 6 months. And then I have a prevention program that lasts 3 to 6 months. Usually my clients would do 1 corrective program a year, and we go through this cycle every year. Now, using caution. All right. One thing I know estheticians are taught, whether it be in school or at the very beginning of their career, is if there is a client of color, you have to be extremely cautious. Okay? Caution, caution, caution. And this is why a lot of estheticians plateau or feel like they just hit a wall when treating client of color, because they're too afraid to take it to the next level. So her and the client are kind of dissatisfied. But unfortunately, this constant messaging and approach, I think, has left estheticians more fearful and just unwilling, to get very invasive with a client of color. And like I said, that just leads to overall dissatisfaction. Yes, it's true. You do have to use caution when treating skin of color. Because like I said earlier, if you don't and you rush in or you're too aggressive, you can cause unwanted complications. You can cause hyperpigmentation, hypopigmentation. You can cause scarring. In some severe cases, you can even cause some keloiding. However, if you properly pre-treat a skin of color client, they should be able to handle the more aggressive treatments and modalities. When treating skin of color with any kind of more advanced modalities like chemical peels, microneedling, laser treatments, etc., you must prime and prep the skin at least 1 month prior to introducing the client to those treatments. It may have to go longer depending upon the client's skin. Facial treatments and home care regimens all can help to prep the skin to receive more invasive treatments. Also, be sure to get your skin of color client in the habit of using a daily sunscreen. Okay, so that's going to be very important, whether it be during your corrective programs or even in your prepping, in your peel prepping. If your skin of color client's skin barrier is compromised in any way or in a very dry and dehydrated state, be sure to focus on repairing the barrier first before introducing more aggressive modalities. You also want to make sure hydration levels are normalized so there are no complications while receiving corrective treatment. So at any time, whether that's when you first meet the client or during the corrective process, if the skin barrier becomes compromised at any point, you must repair the barrier first. The hydration levels must return. Otherwise, you're at risk of tearing the skin and causing severe damage to the skin. So don't continue the peels. Don't continue on with the lasers. Don't continue on with what you're doing. You have to repair that skin first, then get back to the corrective treatments. Be sure that you request detailed information about whether the client is having any other treatments or procedures outside of your aesthetics practice that might interfere with your more invasive treatments in the future. Be sure that if the client is currently using aggressive prescription-based products, that you recommend they discontinue the use of them during your prep and prime phase and while you're having a package of more aggressive treatment, okay, which you can work out or they can work out with that prescribing physician. Now, I've went through the process, this 4-step process to properly prepping your clients of color. It's going to set you up for more success. You're going to be able to provide more effective treatments. You're not going to have the worry of downtime or complications or contraindications for your clients of color. Now, this is just an introduction to this. This isn't the entire prepping process, okay? I go much deeper in my trainings with this, but this gives you the main idea of how this works. And I promise you, if you bring this approach to your practice, if you implement these steps that I'm talking about, you will definitely see much more success, especially with your clients of color. And we have some success stories. So I would like to share some success stories from my students who are currently treating clients of color and experiencing tremendous results. They are implementing the tools, the protocols, and methods that they have learned in my online courses and in-person training classes. So what I tell my students all the time is it works if you work it. So this is Marsha. She had a client of color here. Now she started with the SkinScript enzymes with this client, and this is the client over here. I don't know if you all can see me pointing with my mouse, but she's just expressing how she feels more confident with each client. She's loving the results and how she prepped for the peels. She got this far though, with just a couple enzymes. This is what I mean. This is what I'm trying to get across to you. Results are going to be happening the whole time. So even if we start with the enzymes biweekly and we move into the chemical peels biweekly, results continue to happen and the home care is happening as well. Okay. So it isn't like if I'm prepping, I'm delaying results. Results are still taking place. They just get more rapid as you increase how far you go in your programs or corrective programs. This is Morgan. She did a chemical peel series. She implemented the no downtime method, the chemical peel method that I talk about for clients of color. This was a series of 6 chemical peels. The client was formally prepped, but she was addressing the acne and hyperpigmentation. This is another student of mine where she has the severe melasma and hyperpigmentation on the forehead. They did the properly prep and at home, the products at home. And I teach about how your clients don't have to come in every session for 1 hour. Especially when you start with the package bi-weekly, they can do 30-minute sessions with their peels or their enzymes. Every session doesn't have to be an hour long. And I go into how to price that and how to create a menu of those types of services. But they're seeing the client more frequently. And she's just having tremendous results with her clientele, as well as just more and more people coming in and booking with her. So she's just showing the results that she's achieving. She's doing the prepping and then going into her corrective program here. And this is another student of mine over here, where she's teaching how much she has a younger client who has severe acne at the time, as well as hyperpigmentation. And she went through the entire 3-month progress. And what that is the 6 bi-weekly chemical peels. That's the 3-month. Okay. And now this is an example of a client getting to 3 months, but you may have to add a month or 2 to go. So you might want to add on another series as well. So, what have you learned today? Well, you learned why your clients of color need to be prepped properly, because we learned about all the things that could happen when you don't prep that we don't want to happen, and when to prep a client of color, meaning that should start especially from your first meeting with them. If you're going to address any of their skincare concerns, you would have to go into prep, whether that's in the treatment room or in the home care. You also learn all the things you can use in prepping. When I talked about, you can use the enzymes, you can use the low-level acids with the high pH, you can use your home care to prep, you can use tyrosinase inhibitors to prep, etc. So you learned about the different things you could use when you're prepping. And then you learned how to properly prep. That was the step-up approach, or taking the baby steps as the clients come in, or maybe starting with enzymes and graduating to low-level peels. So you learn my 4-step process, but like I said, you have not learned it in its fullest detail or in the most comprehensive way. Okay? So wouldn't it be great to have more corrective treatment options for your skin of color clientele? Do you want to become an expert at treating skin of color and be the go-to person in area? Do you want to be a skin of color expert in your establishment, in your area? You are the go-to person in your area for clients of color. And would you like to feel more confident and knowledgeable when you're doing it, which is probably the most important question, because even if you have all the other things, if you have the treatment options and you're the go-to person, you still have to have the confidence and knowledge to pull it off. Okay. And also have sustainability. Okay. So here's your chance. I'm offering 2-day hands-on classes this month and next month. These are my last 2 hands-on classes in 2024, and the last time I'm charging $997. I have not raised my pricing in 5 years. I am raising all my pricing in 2025, and the ticket for the 2-day class is moving to $1,500. So this is the last chance to get hands-on training from me personally at this price. And all of my hands-on classes right now are in Raleigh, North Carolina. They're 5 minutes from the airport. I hold them at the Embassy Suites. You get a free shuttle from the flight to the Embassy Suites. You have a free made-to-order breakfast there. We provide the lunch. You're only responsible for the dinner. And if you don't want to stay at Embassy Suites, right behind the Embassy Suites is Hampton Inn Suites. And there's also like, I don't know, 20, 30 hotels all around the airport as well. So, but again, this is your chance to get it at this price. So my class in October is covering skin of color on day one, which means you're going to learn everything about skin of color and all ethnic backgrounds. Okay, I cover all ethnic groups in that class. And the hands-on portion is going to focus on the skincare consultation that we discussed, the signature facial I perform in the first meeting with the enzymes and all of that. We're going to dive into how to effectively do extractions, especially on clients of color, because you have to take additional precautions with extractions on clients of color. So this class, and I also show you how to perform them in a painless, perform the extractions in a painless way. So all skin of color is covered in all modalities. All the modalities are covered. I talk about microneedling, microcurrent, dermaplaning, microderm. I talk about all the treatments on day one and how to perform them on skin of color. Okay. In November is the chemical peel hands-on 2-day. Now, that class is the whole first day is peels theory. Like I go through everything about chemical peels and how you perform them on clients of color, how to sell the packages, how to price the packages. It's everything peels in theory, okay? And we go through superficial all the way to medical grade peels. The second day, the hands-on is peels. Everyone gets a peel, everyone performs a peel. And like I was saying earlier, I have all the peels there that we choose from. And I also, in my classes, I give you access to order everything you need if you want to, or you may have some things already on your back bar. But what I really want you to understand is when you come train from me in person, it is not a sales class. You come to learn the entire time. We run 10 to 5 and you only break for lunch and you learn all day. I'm not selling kits. I'm not selling products, anything. Now, you have a list of everything used there, but this is not a sales pitch. These 2 days is not a sales pitch. If you want to learn for 7 hours a day, this is the class. If you want to learn in person, the hands-on, this is the class. The beautiful thing is because you've waited to the end and you are here with me now, I'm offering $200 off these hands-off classes. So they're only $797. You only have to use promo code webinar200. And so now this class is almost half of what it's going to be to come next year. Okay, so you can come to my final classes in 2024 for only $797. Okay, now I also have payment plan options. We offer payment plan options through Afterpay and Klarna, and I want to say some of these options are, I mean, like $70 a month to get into a payment plan program. So you can also go and sign up today and use the payment plan option as well. Now, when am I going to get, Joelle? What are the bonuses I'm going to get? So you get a free audit. So for the skin of color facial and extraction class and consultation class, you get my Esthetician on a Mission workbook, because that class we do a lot of the business as well, and you get all of my forms and stuff I use and stuff like that, but you don't get the peel and laser book. You get the multicultural skin book for the chemical peel class because that book focuses on chemical peels. Okay. You also get a workbook with all my facial protocols in them. So you're going to arrive and have a book as well as a protocol booklet with all my protocols, with all the step-by-steps, how to bring in lightening agents. Some of you probably purchased the lightening agents class when you were checking out, so you may have some lightening agent protocols from that course too. But you get all my step-by-step protocols when you come. And you also get those in the online course as well. You get all my product recommendations. You get facial and chemical peel product protocol recommendations. And I also give you access to order things wholesale and whatever you may need for your back bar. And you get my no downtime chemical peel and signature facial methods. Of course, you learn them in real time because you do receive and you do give the treatment methods, but you leave with those methods as well. I have them all in the booklet for you to keep with you as well. And you get a certification of completion when you complete. So you also get a certificate after you attend my classes, and you get them with the online classes too. So we have a VIP client community, and this is where I say the magic happens. You get to join my exclusive Facebook community of estheticians. They post all their client concerns and their treatments. They post their wins. A lot of people have made lasting relationships in our community. I have not been diligent in the last few months in my community. Of course, I've been going through a lot with my mom this year, but I am going back this month to doing a monthly session in there. So you can ask me anything, but the reality is, once you're in our community, you can DM me anytime. You can send me an email anytime if you have a question. But I have experts in my community that are always ready to answer questions too. So you can ask Joelle anything, or you can ask me anything. I share more info at least once a month on how to treat skin of color. I also share my marketing strategies, how to increase your clientele and your revenue. And I do these live inside that VIP community. You also get, when you book the hands-on classes or in-person classes, you get a one-on-one coaching call with me included. I also have a premium ticket where you can get 3 coaching calls with me, but after you attend, you also get a coaching call with me. And again, you'll get that certificate of completion. Now, if anybody's on the training now that did the 2-day, please share your experience, with people in the chat so that they have an idea of a person who, of course, attended one of the hands-on classes, that can really express to you how much you learned in the 2-day. Or you can ask, some of you want to ask, does anybody, on this call or in this chat, have they been to the 2-day? Please share their experience. Okay, let's say, Joelle, I live real far away. I don't think I can get to an in-person training. What other options do you have? Well, if you'd like this kind of training, it's very much like my online courses. I do have the multicultural skin and chemical peels and lasers course you can take. Now you get 3 modules with that, and you get my ebook for free. It's included. The first module covers all multicultural skin conditions and how you treat them. I also add in the inside out approach and my no downtime chemical peel and laser methods. That's all included in that online course. In module 2, you get 2 videos. I think you have a 30-minute chemical peel video, a step-by-step, and you have a 1-hour how I perform the 1-hour chemical peel treatment step-by-step. And in this module, you learn all the different types of peels, the peel categories, and you learn about peel percentages. You learn about the best suited to use on people of color. And this module also includes a chemical peel treatment demonstration video. Like I said, you're going to get a step-by-step videos on how I perform them too. Module 3 covers the safest lasers and laser protocols to use on skin of color. And you learn about the most safe and effective laser, the protocols to use on clients of color. And this module also gets into the ways you can combine the laser and chemical peel methods and protocols to combat your most stubborn skin of color conditions as well. So for the online course, you get the 3 training modules. You also get VIP access to the group community with the once a month calls with me, and you get the ebook and you get the certification of completion. And the online course is $697. Okay. The book is worth $49. The group coaching is $700. The whole value of the online course is $1446. But today, your price would be $497 because I'm offering $200 off my multicultural skin with chemical peels and online course. I'm offering that so you can get the online course for just $497, and those payment plan options start at just $44. Okay. So let's say you're saying, Joelle, that class or that online class is already too, that's maybe too aggressive for me right now. I'm really green to treating skin of color and the whole process. Then I would suggest starting with my introduction to skin of color course. Okay. Now, in this course, we just dive deep into skin of color. You're not going deep into, I still talk about treatments that can help with conditions, but this introductory course is great for giving you the physiological, anatomical differences in skin of color. What are the root causes of skin of color, most common skin conditions, but how to treat and eliminate these most common conditions using effective protocols and treatments. So this, if you just want an introduction, this is the online course for you. And also my 2-day class, the facial consultation class and all of that, that's like this class. You're going to get a whole comprehensive view of skin of color, the whole introduction to it. You're going to learn all the little tricks and methods and secrets to treating it effectively, all of that. I think this is very much in alignment with the 2-day I'm having this month, well, in a few weeks. So this class is right now $497, but you're going to get $200 off that today too. So if you're interested in taking that class, you can get it for $297 today. Okay, you can get the introductory online course for $297. You still get all the things included. You get the VIP community, you get the certificate of completion, you get all my protocols, all my things you have to download. You get everything included with the intro to online course too. So my 2-day hands-on classes, the multicultural skin, and the intro, all $200 off today. Webinar 200 is the promo code. Oh, these are some more testimonials.
I specialize in hyperpigmentation and acne as well for my clients. I do not even know where to begin with this. From learning how to do chemical peels correctly on skin of color to how often, also how to put packages together for your clients, that way they actually purchase them. From knowing product knowledge for at-home skincare to work with the treatments that I'm doing here. From learning better how to do my consultations better with my clients as well. The list actually really goes on. It even comes down to where I was making like $40,000 a year. And because I took her classes and she goes in depth with customer service and so forth, I have went to being a 6-figure esthetician, and that has my mind blown without really trying. So if you have the opportunity to take her classes, please do. I would pay triple the amount of what I actually paid for her classes. Take everything and anything that she puts out. Joelle, I'm telling you right now, I can't wait to see you in person, but keep doing what you're doing. You are changing the great game. For us to be able to take care of Black skin without damaging the skin and getting real results, keep doing what you do. I love you.
Okay, that was Angela Davis.
Hi, everybody. My name is Morgan Duval. I am the owner and team member of Skin by Duval. We are part of the Carlene Salon and Spa Beauty Network here in West Palm Beach, Florida. I just wanted to give my testimonial for Ms. Joelle Lee, who has been a godsend for myself educationally and then also for my clients. I recently took the multicultural, within the last year, I took the multicultural skincare course, where she talked about chemical peels and lasers. I see a drastic difference in the treatment room as far as the results that I'm getting. Uploading pictures at the beginning of treatment, reviewing the pictures 2 and 3 treatments in, and seeing drastic results for my clients. Being able to see the confidence. It's just been absolutely phenomenal. I think the information provided is absolutely needed and necessary for our industry. Short story, I actually had a client's mother come to my studio and thank me for the renewed confidence that she's seen her daughter have around the house. And I credit all of that to Miss Joelle. So if you're thinking about taking the multicultural skincare class with the lasers and the chemical peels, highly recommend. Thank you, Miss Joelle, for all that you do. You completely changed the model of my business. You've changed the way that I sold packages, that I sell memberships, and that I educate the client, which we know is most important. So thank you so much. I look forward to taking more training with you in the future. And I just hope that this video can help somebody. All right, talk to you guys soon. Bye.
And that is Morgan Duval. So if you're not following me, please follow me on Instagram at Joelle Lee _aesthetics training. And I also have a free Facebook group, which is Joelle Lee Advanced Aesthetics Training, where you can stay, up to date on everything that I'm doing. So, and then of course, I have the VIP community where you only get access if you purchase an online course or take an in-person class. Okay, so if you're not following me, please do, and please tag me in anything you post related to my training. And you can always drop me a DM or a direct message on either platform, and I'm happy to answer any of your questions. So once again, before I get into answering your questions, it's $200 off today using Webinar 200. You can use that toward my 2-day hands-on classes or my multicultural skin online course or introduction to skin of color online course. So I'm going to the Q&A now. If you have any questions, please go to the Q&A section, because that is where I'm going to, so if you've asked questions in the chat while I've been on all this time, please move that question over to the Q&A so I'm sure to answer it. Like I said, it's harder for me to go through the chat to try and find the questions. So I'm just going to start here. Okay, I have a question here. Interested on how you undergo about treating hyperpigmentation or dark spots with brightening agent. So I have a lightening agents class, but I also go through how I treat hyperpigmentation or dark spots with lightening agents in my in all these classes, because hyperpigmentation is the #1 condition treated in clients of color. First of all, you have several options when it comes to a lightening agent, whether it be with hydroquinone or without. But most importantly, what I don't do that most people do is start out spot treating these areas. And I talk about how you actually have to bring in a lightening agent in a specific way to ensure that client doesn't look like they're actually using a lightening agent or experiencing a halo effect around a dark spot. And what that means is sometimes when people spot treat with lightening agents, they'll get like this white halo or white circle around that spot. And the reason that happens is when you start using lighteners and the skin around the dark mark is intact or doesn't need lightening, and you hit that spot every time that way, that skin is getting lighter as well. And that's why even the dark mark can start to look darker, because the skin around it is lightening too quickly. And it doesn't mean that the dark spot isn't lightening. It's just the skin around it is lightening too quickly and too much, and now it's looking more pronounced. So whether you take my lightening agents class or you take any of my other classes, I talk about how in a bi-weekly way you have to bring lightening agents in. And I give you the exact instructions that you have to give the client every 2 weeks on how to use that lightener, so that they do not ever look like they're using a lightener. They do not experience the halo effect, and all their skin can even out simultaneously. Okay. So someone's asking the questions I asked during a consultation. This consultation form is 4 pages long. Okay, so I'm not going to go through every question on it. You all are going to get a copy of it when you get the replay, but we cover their background, their ethnic background, of course. We cover from the inside out. We ask about bowel habits. We ask about lifestyle, what they eat, what they don't eat, what is their skincare, current skincare, what regimens are they on, what vitamins are they on, what treatments have they had in the past, what level of experience have they had, what are their skincare goals, etc. It's a very detailed and comprehensive consultation form. So, and it's designed for you to walk through it, so you remember all the questions, but more than that, to create the conversation. If you feel like you're very nervous about, starting a conversation in a consultation, or even nervous about what to ask, do the consultation form with the client. Go through the form together, because I found that to be way more beneficial to me when we just go through it together. And they were actually a lot more honest when we went through the form together. So someone's asking, should initial consultations be separate from the first appointment? And do you charge for the consultation? So on my menu, I had a consultation only appointment that I did charge for. And that consultation, what I said was, if you decide to buy product or you decide to book an appointment, this consultation fee can go towards that. So the message was, all my time is valuable. Okay. So if you come for a consultation and decide to do absolutely nothing, I don't have to feel like I took a loss, because you still paid for my time. And you get a win if you decide to move forward, because it's a credit toward whatever you decide to do. And when you booked your consultation with your first appointment, the first appointments were always more expensive, because I'm going to add that 30 to 45 minutes of extra time to your first appointment. But you have to understand that on my menu, I didn't have a list of, 30 facials, the Blue Lotus facial, the acne facial, all that. I didn't do that, because I don't think a client knows what they want to book. So mine said, first time appointment, click here. Like every first time person knew, okay, this is my appointment. It's going to be 90 minutes. It includes my consultation and my treatment. And it is more than the other, and then I had follow-up visit facial. So if you were a returning client, you knew what to do. And if you were a first-time client, you knew what to do. Because I decide what we're going to do, not you. I'm the professional. You should not be able to go to my menu and know what you need. That's up to me. So that's how I did mine. So let me see. I can stop my share. Okay. so the next question was, do I recommend charging for consultations? And I just went through that. So I think, in my class, I talk about charging for time because instead of service. So I go through how you should be charging to meet your monetary goals on time instead of service. So I knew what I had to make per hour to meet those goals. So that is what I charge. So now you pay for my time with me. Okay, so I don't believe in a free consultation. I don't believe I should give you 30 or 45 minutes and you just leave, and I lost the money, I lost the time, all of that. So I would definitely charge for time. I think that you should always show you're valuable in every aspect of your business, especially when you hold a professional license. Okay. And I think it lets them know right away that any time with you or anything they're getting ready to do with you is not worth zero. Okay. So they know not only am I paying for this, I'm paying for everything going forward. Because I talk about, specials and, what is a special and why you shouldn't discount your specialties. When you're running specials, you should have other ways you promote that don't devalue your expertise or don't devalue what you do the best work at. Okay. And I don't want to get too far into all that because this is like, this is like the Peel class, Peel training, but I definitely recommend you charging for your time. And if that includes a consultation, there should be a price for it. Okay. But like I said, as long as they moved forward, it was a credit. So it wasn't like she paid for the consultation if she got product or if she got the treatment, because now she's getting, she's using that to go towards it. Okay, so it just went towards that. Someone's asking, how do we have a full consultation if a client only books a regular 60-minute facial? Should I have a non-negotiable first visit? And so they were all getting to the same thing. So my first time appointment was a 90-minute appointment. There's no way around it. And in the description, it said, this appointment includes your consultation, my recommendations, and I'll determine, we will determine the best suited customizable treatment for your service today. Like I went through that in the whole description where it says, if you're a first-time client, book here. And then the whole description to what they would expect at this appointment. Okay, so that's also a win for you because they're going to say things like, wow, I never booked with someone and they were going to give me this much time. They immediately feel like they're getting all this time, but that facial should not be the same price of your 60-minute facial. It should be more. So if you charge $60 an hour and it's $30, that means it's $30 for 30 minutes of your time. So a first-time appointment should be $90 is what I'm getting at. And then your regular facial, $60. So that's how I would be figuring out how I'm going to price the first-time appointment. Okay. Someone's asking, we have to treat acne before hyperpigmentation? No, they usually are treated together and happen together in a client of color, especially. So usually a client of color who has acne, those acne, that acne leaves behind acne scar or discoloration. So you can treat them both at the same time, especially if you're using peels and lighteners at the same time. They can both be treated together. Is using SkinScript enzymes on a first-time client okay? If they're mild, because all the SkinScript isn't mild. Okay, some of SkinScript is pretty strong, like a strong peel. So I would be using the skin script enzymes with the highest pH in a treatment. Now I have enzymes you can use if you take my any of my education, my courses or my in-persons, I give you an enzyme that's perfectly fine to use. And you know, I tell you where you can get one even that they could use at home and all of that. But um with skin script, you still have to be careful on how strong their peels are, because inside skin script, you can easily have a step-up approach inside skin script because they have mild to strong enzymes. So you could even be doing a series with just enzymes if you wanted. Okay. So a client is saying, I mean, a client. Someone is saying, currently I have a client with Milia and best solution for her. Honestly, I use Lancets for Milia. I know all states don't let you use them, but I did. That was my most effective solution to Milia. But I would try the enzymes and the exfoliation too, and still try to do your extractions that way. But usually Milia has a piece of skin over it, and that's why you're not even getting a solution through there. It's like this thin layer of skin has grown over it, and if you don't break it, you can't get it. And that's why my most effective way to address it was with a lancet. And we do bring the lancets to the class. So but if you can't use it in your state, I understand, but I show you how to use the lancets too in the class. So okay, someone's asking, am I planning to do another tour? No. The tour was very, very challenging. I'm loving being home and teaching at home, and I can hands-on at home. Now, I am thinking about doing, you know, I want to write a comprehensive guide, like a very just everything you need to know book instead of just a chemical peel and laser book. And that is a goal in 2025. And what I might do is another book tour. Because the book tours are like one day, I come out, everybody gets a copy of the book, I do the questions, I do a quick, you know, presentation. I might do that. My, excuse me, my training is so extensive that even in the 2 day, with all that they learn and all the hands-on, because when we toured, we didn't have hands-on. So on the tour, for those who don't know, in 23, I did a tour and I went city to city, and day 1 was skin of color and day 2 was business. But we did a party the night before. It was like I was gone 5 days. Me and my staff were gone 5 days. And I still didn't get to do the hands-on. And I got to tell you, it's something about teaching you on one day and then we just put it all together the next. It would be so hard for me to tour that way. But if I do this other book, I would definitely book tour again, and I would have, but everything would be done in a day. It wouldn't be, I'm coming in, I'm going to be here 3 days. I'm going to be here for a night or a party, or I would really try to make it a 1 day event. So if I tour again, it'll be in that capacity. Otherwise, right now, to get in-person training for me, you would have to come to North Carolina. Okay, someone's asking, do you teach how to treat melasma? Absolutely. We cover melasma, and even in my multicultural skin online course, we cover melasma and hyperpigmentation are your top concerns in clients of color. So we dive deep in melasma and all the ways you can treat it, not just with the chemical peel and not just with lightening agents. So we cover all the ways you can treat melasma. Um, Someone's asking, I've seen estheticians layer aggressive treatments like microneedling, chemical peels in one treatment, or dermaplane, microderm, and a chemical peel. Is layering or combining treatments necessary? Are these practices too much for the skin? Yes and no. So I also teach how to combine treatments. So like you can have a peel and a microderm the same day. You can have a peel and dermaplane the same day. This is my approach to combining or layering treatments. I would never start a client out that way. And what I mean by that is I'm going to have you come in for a chemical peel and I'm going to see how you respond. And I'm going to have you come in for a microderm and see how you respond. I'm not going to find out which one you don't respond well to layering them. So I would have to have a real good understanding of how you responded to each one individually before I ever put them together. And also, when you do 2 services in one day or in one treatment, you also have to be less aggressive and more cautious doing each one because I'm doing 2 instead of 1. Okay? That is why what I prefer to offer is if you have 2 modalities, I would separate them biweekly. So let's say you wanted to do microderm and peels. Why can't we sell 3 micros and 3 peels? And today you're going to have the peel. In 2 weeks, you're going to have microderm. 2 weeks after that, you're going to have the peel. And 2 weeks after that, you're going to have microderm. And now it's isolated and I can do whatever I want each time you come. I'm not worrying about going into the second service. You're still coming bi-weekly. You're still getting both. But I can do whatever I want each time. And if something does go wrong, I'm dealing with one thing and not 2. So that's just how I look at it. But you can combine treatments, but you want to make sure the client is prepped for that. And you want to make sure they can handle it. Okay, someone's asking, what is frosting? It's something that can happen after a peel, frosting and blanching. And frosting actually does look like white cake frosting on the face. You can't wipe it off. But if the peel is very aggressive, it can do that and it can leave this frosting look on your face, but it can also leave behind hyperpigmentation in a client of color. Okay, what is a good enzyme peel or mask combo for starter SD? So I don't do product recommendations in any of my free trainings. You have to sign up for either an online course or take an in-person class, and you get my list of all of my product recommendations. Okay, I give you every single one. So someone said, one of the skincare lines I'm using has a self-neutralizing peel, 10% lactic, 2% salicylic, and 14 resorcinol with panthenol and peptides. But it's only recommended for fits 1 through 4. I'm not sure why this would be, especially since we have just learned to prep the skin. Any thoughts on this? I think that the resorcinol may be why you can't go higher than 4. Again, you would have to prep for this pill with its combination. And I don't, it would be, did that client graduate to that? But I would not use it on a 5 or 6, especially if they're recommending not to, whether it's a step approach or not, because it's what chemically way they've created it. So in my class, I can teach you how to get peels wholesale and in their purest form and all of that. But if you're buying from a company with their own combination of ingredients, they know where they usually know when it can and cannot be used. So I always say, regardless of what I'm saying, you got to follow your manufacturer's instructions, because I don't know the entire makeup of that product and that blend, what it means. So if they're saying do not use this on a fits more higher than 4, then I wouldn't. But if you have a lactic acid just in front of you and a salicylic acid just in front of you, that's a different conversation than their cocktail. Okay, so I would follow the manufacturer's instructions. I wouldn't say, well, Joelle said, if as long as I prepped her, I can throw this on. No. I'm very clear in my classes that I can teach you how to use things when they're isolated and by themselves. But once you're buying things and there's a combination of them, you have to follow the manufacturer's instructions. But you can still use the step-up approach in all things that you do, just to ensure the client can take it. Okay, is the promo code only valid for today? No, the promo code's valid all week, as long as the replay's up. Okay. Do you recommend LED light with peels? It's fine, it's not gonna hurt, even after the peel. LED lights don't harm after the peels. Okay. Okay. Okay, so she's saying I have a client that has PCOS and the person has a few dark spots on the chin area. What is the best way to treat? So again, we talk about PCOS in my classes. I teach about how to treat dark marks in my no downtime methods, in my lightning agents and all of that. So you would have to follow those methods and protocols to treat the dark spots on the chin. Oh, so someone's asking about the hotel that the 2-day classes that's at Embassy Suites at RDU, and there's 2 Embassy Suites. So you have to be sure that you're using the Embassy Suites at RDU. You have to book it, and then you get everything you need. You get everything you need for every link, everything, to book it, everything you need to know. It's fine. Okay. Okay, when prepping a client for treatment, how do you know which to introduce or start with as far as an enzyme or chemical peel? Is there a specific condition that lets you know which to start with? Well, if you're starting a facial and the barrier is not compromised, you probably have some type of standard exfoliation step in your facial. And you probably have a relatively mild enzyme you start with. So that would be absolutely fine to introduce that one. Someone's asking, how do I enroll in the hands-on training when I'm not physically present in your class or chemical peel training? I don't understand the question because I don't understand. When you enroll, you're going to be physically present in the class, so I don't understand that question. Okay, hydroquinone is known for lightening the skin. For some people, even if it was a low percentage, it seems to work, but then the hyperpigmentation comes back and sometimes a bit worse. After doing some research, this ingredient causes oxygenous ochronosis. I haven't had this problem, and I think it's because of the way I introduce it and wean them off. These things happen when you abruptly stop using hydroquinone or when you use it the wrong way. For 25 years, I haven't had it happen. And the discoloration doesn't come back because the percentage matters. If you're using 2% or less, the discoloration will come back. You have to use it at a prescription level of 4% or more to completely eradicate it and ensure that it does not return, which I teach about as well. Okay. Someone said piggybacking off your every 2 weeks microneedling chemical peel, still recommend that after prepping. Yes, you can still do it bi-weekly, but microneedling, I believe, is once a month. So that one I don't think is a bi-weekly option, but after prepping, I would still only do the microneedling once a week, unless you're combining peels with microneedling and you're doing microneedling once a month and chemical peel once a month. Oh, someone's asking, can you still get that lightning agent class for the $49 when you check out? If you just send me an email, I can send you a link for the lightning agent. If you still want to purchase that class for $49, you can just send me an email. Okay, guys, so I have to go. I'm so sorry. If I didn't answer your question, can you just send me a DM on Instagram or Facebook? You can just ask me the question there, or you can send me an email at joelle@joelleskincare.com. I have to handle something and I'm not going to be able to stay on any longer. I want to thank you all for joining me today. You all have been absolutely great. I loved the questions and please, if I didn't get your question, or if you have a question while you're thinking about it, or you even have a question about what classes you should take, don't hesitate to DM me or reach out to me. As I said, you can email me at joelle@joelleskincare.com. Hopefully I'll see some of you this month or in a few weeks in my hands-on class, or I'll see you in November for my chemical peel hands-on class. But until then, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day, and bye for now.